Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? You're welcome as always. This is the 6th week. How is it going? Take a moment to reflect. How is it going? What are you learning? If you're watching on any of the media platforms, please drop a comment. If you're watching on some other platforms where a comment is not possible, I understand. Put your comment in your journal. We'll be mentioning journaling. I hope by now you have your journal if you're watching on the media platforms. So now the next 5 modules will then be breaking down each of these pillars in depth. This module is just like an overview of the pillars. Then the next module is the biological approach in depth. Next one after that is psychological approach in depth. After that is social approach in depth. After that is spiritual approach in depth. Then we're going to have some other wonderful things to discuss later. Please, at this point, if you have not been making jottings, if it's not that you have full access, lifetime access to this, please start making jottings because you want to be more intentional now. Now you can see this pillar. Imagine that you took out the biological approach. Will this structure stand well if a storm was coming? You're correct. No, it will not. Or you took out the psychological and the social approach, and a storm or an earthquake was going to hit this building. Would it stand? No, it will not. It will not stand because you need all the pillars to hold it in place. Now, if this building was just doing life, no storm, no earthquake was coming, it will stand. But the realities of our lived experience is that life will show us and will throw us curveballs. The test of our resilience is hinged on how many of these pillars we have standing strong and firmly. And the strength of your recovery is also hinged on these pillars. So, like I've been saying repeatedly, that recovery is more than abstinence. It's not just that you have stopped using it. It is that you're building another life entirely. It's not that you stop drinking, I'm in recovery, I'm no longer doing drugs, I'm in recovery, I'm no longer gambling, I'm in recovery, I'm no longer doing porn. But you still eat the crappiest of foods and you sleep only 2 hours a night because you are on social media all night. You are not in recovery, you are only in abstinence. You're only in abstinence until the earthquakes of life shake your abstinence, and then you realize, I wasn't doing well as I thought I was. So abstinence would then mean that you're not using substances, you're stopping unhealthy behavior, you are trying to avoid relapse, you have temporary self-control. Mark the word temporary, not permanent. You focus on what you're not doing. So it's restrictive or forced. So if I take you and I lock you up in a room and I say you will not be able to use your substance, I place you on compulsory abstinence. It's restrictive, it's forced. The day the door is opened, even if you were sober for 6 months, the next time you have a stress, a trigger, you have not been equipped with what it takes to overcome it. So you will likely relapse. So the risk of returning to the substance or the behavior when life gets hard is very high with abstinence. Recovery is that you're building another life that does not need an addictive behavior or substance. In fact, those concepts seem very strange because it's a life that is safe and it's a life that you enjoy. So why do you want to escape? Like you ask me, why do I want to escape my life 2 hours now? No, I don't want to. I love it 100%. That's the kind of life you want to build. If there's a challenge in my life, I will face it head on because I love this life too much to want to escape. So recovery then will mean emotional healing, physical healing, healthy relationships, yes, purposeful living, a lifestyle of lasting change. You're focusing on who you are becoming, not what you are not doing. So you're focusing on becoming a better person who is intentional about purpose, who is intentional about meaning, who is intentional about stewarding their emotions, their thoughts, their decisions, their thought patterns, their belief system. So recovery builds strength, hope, and freedom. So now stopping the addiction is just the beginning. It's not the destination. It is that you build another life. You become a different person. That's the ultimate goal in recovery. So as we've been saying again and again and again, the biological pillar would mean that you're caring for your body, your sleep, your nutrition, your exercise, medical care, and medications, your healing the brain, and your energy. Because a healthy body will create the foundation for lasting recovery. Psychologically, you're understanding your emotions and you're managing them. You're able to heal trauma if you've had it, which, as I've said severally, addiction is just a tip of the iceberg. You're able to heal trauma, to heal shame. Yes, it's possible to come to that point where you're not carrying any shame. It is possible, believe you me. You know, you struggle with an addiction, you know, you struggle with a substance, but it's not who you are. It is what you used to struggle with. Then you want to learn early coping mechanisms and build self-awareness. A healthy mind will bring freedom from pain and triggers. You see, every pillar has its own function. Then socially, you're building healthy relationships, you're setting boundaries, finding community and support, you're practicing honest conversation. You should be able to have one or two people you can pour your heart out to, because a strong support system will keep you connected and accountable. And spiritually, you're discovering identity and purpose, you're growing in faith and hope, you're experiencing forgiveness, and you're serving others. A healed spirit will give meaning, hope, and direction. So pillar one, again, I'll just touch on this. This is just touching on it briefly. Each of these pillar is a whole model on its own. Your healthy body would only be able to carry a healthy mind. And keep in mind what we've been saying all the while, that addiction affects the brain and the body. So healing the body is essential for lasting recovery. Areas you want to focus on: sleep, nutrition, exercise, and so on and so forth. Now, importantly is that when you leverage this, your mood is better, your sleep gets better, your immunity is better. So it takes care of a number of chronic pains. You have more energy, so you don't need to use substances to give you energy. You're better able to focus. It would help reduce cravings. Psychologically, all the things we've said earlier, addiction will oftentimes begin in the mind. You're wondering that is looking for a means of escape. Psychological healing will help you understand why, and then it will also give you tools to live differently. It's important to have psychological healing because unhealed pain would often lead to healthy behaviors, as you now understand. Emotional healing will unlock peace and freedom, as you hopefully also understand. When you heal emotionally, your cravings will lose their power on you. A renewed mind will help you to make better choices and build a better life. Your thoughts would ultimately shape your feelings. Your feelings will shape your choices. And the choices, many times, except the thoughts have been well stewarded, would hardly be in favor of your recovery, which is why your psychological pillar must be well taken care of. And your social circle, connection will help reduce loneliness and isolation. Support system will increase your sense of motivation and hope, because you know now you're not just doing it for you. The other people are counting on you. Then within a recovery community or recovery cohort, you realize the other people on this journey, I'm not the only one who has had it so crappy. And then if this person has gone so far and then is now healed or on their healing path, how much more me? Then the fact that you have accountability will allow you to stay on track. So remember, accountability partner is in your social circle. Then healthy relationships will promote healing and self-worth. So a strong community can help you guide yourself or can help guide you through challenging times. Again, what we've said again and again is that addiction grows in isolation, emotional isolation importantly, because you may be in the midst of people, but you're not emotionally connected to them. Recovery will grow in connection. And then the spiritual pillar, all that we've said, prayer, connection with God, finding purpose, finding meaning, doing activities that give you a sense of fulfillment. Your sense of identity can only be found from that place of spiritual rootedness, knowing God. And it is in knowing God you know yourself. The Coca-Cola bottle, if you want to find the best description and the component and the constitution and the function of a glass of Coca-Cola, who do you go to? You go to the manufacturer. You don't go to the person who is drinking a bottle of Coke. So if you want to know you, go to your manufacturer, and the closer you get to him, the more of you know. Your sense of identity will be positively and correctly stewarded, and your sense of worth will be unshakable. Give you an example. Your trauma convinced you that you are not this, you are not that. It's a lie. So see your trauma as what's this car by Elon Musk? I can't remember the name. If you know the name, put it in the comment section. But let's think of a Mercedes. So let's say a Mercedes was involved in a very bad accident, so much so that the Mercedes is unrecognizable. Now you take that Mercedes to a Toyota dealership. Does the Toyota dealership say that because this Mercedes is so badly injured, accidented rather, we would now name it a Toyota? It's no longer fit to be called a Mercedes. Is that possible? No, it's not possible. Now take that battered Mercedes back to the Mercedes company. They can assemble it and even make it better. When Bible says that He causes all things to work together for those who love Him and are called according to His purpose, that would only happen if that Mercedes goes back to the manufacturer. So the end can be better than the beginning. Again, Bible says that better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. So the traumatic experience is a similitude of the very bad accident that Mercedes had. The spiritual pillar is a similitude of the journey of that Mercedes back to its manufacturer. Your spiritual pillar is getting back to your manufacturer, who you will be able to tell that I'm battered, I'm bruised, I'm broken. Can you fix me and make me better than I ever was? That's restoration of identity. That's the restoration of worth. So much so that this Mercedes comes back from the manufacturer's company and it's like, no, even though I was badly battered in an accident, I am not a vehicle for towing. You can't use me to tow things or to move tomato from the market. I am a vehicle for the high and the mighty, for classy occasions and events. That way you would also be able to tell yourself, no, I don't do some things, because now I've come in contact and in recognition with my identity and worth. I don't keep some circles, I don't keep some friends, I don't keep some contact, I don't go some places. It's not just right. It just means you know who you are. But you would only know who you are when you're in close relationship with who manufactured you. The spiritual recovery gives you strength beyond your own ability. Yes, there's some things you cannot do on your own, regardless of how much strong will or how well you steward all of these resources. Your spiritual pillar provide meaning and direction in your life. The Bible says that it is not in man to direct his own ways. Your spiritual pillar will open the door to healing, to forgiveness and transformation. I've been talking about this forgiveness. Some ills, some evil were done to you that, except God help you through it, you cannot forgive such. And we said that unforgiveness is drinking a poison and expecting another person to die. So it's like being caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. You want to forgive, but the pain is that deep. It's only the spiritual pillar that can get you through. I am a therapist. I may not be able to get you to that place, except God does an inner work. And then your spiritual pillar sustains you when life gets hard and uncertain. And I wish I can tell you life will not get hard. It will. In fact, if you would have a life of significance and impact, prepare for it to get worse. Because you have more upheavals to cross. But by then, you have built so much spiritual anchor and rootedness that you can say, bring it on. Devil, bring on your worst. I've got what it takes. But that's not just vain. You are just saying it like that. Is that you have built stamina. You've built capacity. You've built structure. And it's possible. So now, a challenge here that you have to begin. We have a 40-day challenge, I think, in the 11th module, but why not start your 40 days now? I think you should start. I hope you have started. Maybe that's the better thing to say. Now, it's important to know that recovery is not a one-size-fits-all. So you have to sit and craft what works for you. You are uniquely created and your journey is uniquely yours. You know what we said earlier? I know two addictions arose from the same life experience. Now, two people struggling with marijuana, but they had two different life experiences. You will just put everything under a blanket statement of trauma. There may be 4 pillars, but it's only one you. So key questions you want to keep in mind is, what habits would I build to care for my body? What are you going to do? Pick 3 minimum. The more you can pick, the better. And if you can pick all, because I believe you can pick all, how will I protect my mind and manage my emotions? Who would I surround myself with for support and encouragement? How will I grow in my faith and stay connected to my purpose? And then you look at all of this recovery blueprint and ask yourself, where am I now in each area of my life? Biologically, where are you? How do you care for your body? Do you eat well, exercise, rest well? What area do you need to prioritize to focus on most right now? What small step can you take this week? And then you take consistent action every day. Reflect, celebrate your progress, adjust as needed. For what is worth, if you're not working with a therapist, please have your accountability partner review your recovery blueprint. So there's someone who knows that there are a number of things you're committed to and is able to check up on you, keep you on track. And then if you did not keep to it, we'll be able to ask you what happened. So please, whatever addiction you struggle with, get someone to work with you. Get someone to work with you. I tell you, regardless of how bad it sounds, it's not the end of the world. It's the addiction that is making you feel that you're the only one who would understand. Sex-related, porn, find someone. If it looks like it's such a stigmatizing addiction, then find a therapist who is professionally trained. We'll be able to meet up with you every week and review your template, your recovery blueprint. Okay, I think that covers this module. And as always, beautiful people, thank you for staying with me. Wishing you well, wishing you healing, wishing you hope, wishing you sobriety, and wishing you peace. God bless. Bye.